What's up guys, Jimmy here, and today we got a fairly decent amount ahead of us. We're going to be changing out the intake manifold for a new one, and the carburetor for a new one, and the radiator for a new one, and installing electric fans. And then later on I'm going to be ripping out the AC, stuff, all that good stuff. But the radiator is leaking, it's cracked and leaking. You could hear it hissing whenever they try the truck for a while. I assume it's the original, just painted black. You can kind of see the copper right there. But anyway, what we got right here is we got basically a brand new intake. My dad actually sent this to me from Texas. This was on his 55 truck and it has only break-in time on it. And he actually changed to fuel injection, so he sent me his carburetor and his HEI distributor, but we're not going to install that. So, got some nice fun parts to do finally, engine stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I think I'll remove the radiator and the coolant and the fans and all that first. Alright, well the camera decided to turn off because I guess it only records a certain amount of time before it turns off, but I got the radiator out and look at that. Get a free 1/2-inch wrench. Craftsman. Alright, so to catch up on what I'm doing, I got the front grill off. Had to take this little piece off. It was right here, and there's a bolt right here. Bolt down here, a couple holes in the middle. I loosened the bumper a little bit. Didn't take it apart though to get it out. I'm gonna go ahead and remove like some of the radiator stuff or AC stuff because there's no Freon even in it. Over here, I got the missus working for me. She's doing good. It's my battery box. Taking it down to the metal, and then we'll go ahead and clean it up and paint it. So she's taking care of some paint stuff for me. Sticking the AC apart, again, it was already empty. There ain't no way this thing was gonna hold coolant. These O-rings were destroyed. A couple other O-rings looked like that. Whoever had this before clamped them down, or I don't know. These factory AC systems, like, they're doo-doo. I don't think they work efficiently. Even if they do, I'm in Canada, I don't need it. If I ever really wanted AC, just aftermarket. But I don't know if this stuff will be worth anything to anybody, maybe. I'm curious on what it's worth. Let me know in the comments if you think it's worth anything. 50 bucks, 20 bucks. So you got quite a bit done. Got the front grille off, headlights out. Headlights are out just because I need to take them out to get the grill out, but yeah, radiator's out. Got all the AC stuff out. That was kind of a pain. What I ended up having to do was take out this inner fender, which made it way easier because I could actually reach under. And we had to take the hood off to pull the box out because the little blower motor's in the way. But that's it for the night. Got mostly everything cleaned up. Nice thing about when you're working on a truck is you can store the parts in the bed. And I had Mia again working on this, and damn, that woman got this thing good. She got this thing down to the metal. It's like what I asked though. Got the hood chilling on the wall. Tomorrow we'll work on this some more, get some of that rust out in there, but for the most part, I think she did a good job. So we'll paint this, get it pretty nice, and then take these down, repaint those, and I don't think much else needs painting. But yeah, tomorrow, see, I should be ready to rip the intake off and the carburetor and put the new one in, and then gotta do some attachments for the radiator fan, but that's not a big deal. I'll probably leave that the way it is for a while. I might replace the heater core. Might as well while I'm in there replace the heater core. And then I got the delete box come in to tidy that up, so it'll be so much nicer not having air conditioning in there. All that stuff out of the way. Again, I don't need it. We're in Canada. Don't even have AC in the house, so that's it for tonight. And I'll see you guys in a moment. Alright, so it's day 2 out here in the truck. Here in a little bit, Mia will probably come out and start working on this again. I want to show this to y'all again because she did a good job. She put way more time into it than I would have. Because I want to work on the truck. I don't want to spend 4 hours, you know, grinding this down. But she did a damn good job. Anyway, today I'm going to be probably making the brackets to hook up my fan to my new radiator. I'll bring that out and I'll show that to y'all. And then I will most likely take off this intake and install like the carburetor and stuff. So pull this intake off, carburetor off too, put on the new stuff, and then that'll be that. I guess install a radiator too, although I'm waiting on some stuff. I got like a nice hose for the top. Got a new hose for the bottom, just a basic rubber one for the bottom. Gotta wait for this delete panel to get here. Hopefully that'll all work fine. The heat will function, you know, nice and good. I don't know. I don't think I broke anything, or I don't know what's all needed and what I can remove. So that's a tough one. I'm also gonna put in like a manual ball valve in the line. That way I can cut off the heat or the coolant going inside the heater core during the summer, because I don't need it during the summer, and I only need it during the winter. It's like winter, I don't know, 7 months here out of the year versus what, 5 months of non-winter here. So if I have that ball valve, it'll cut off the just the heat inside the cap, because there is some heat in there. Like, it doesn't stop blowing, so it'll stop off that heat. And I got some new heater hose just for the just for this heater hose, and then this heater hose to run up there. Got some new ones because, you know, it was like $8 a pop, and I probably got more than I needed, so might as well replace it. And that'll be today's. So here's a nice new radiator. It's from Champion. Part number is EC369. It's right there. You know what? I don't need to show you. EC369. This is a Ford Taurus radiator fan. So these things are super popular to swap in, and they have crazy CFM from the factory. The shroud, unfortunately, doesn't fully cover the radiator, and I've been really contemplating on making my own little aluminum shroud just to have this sit on top of and, you know, have the full thing covered. But I think I'm just gonna go ahead and run it like this and see how it does. I'm only gonna use a low setting. I don't need the 2-speed. I don't have AC. I think the low setting will cool it just fine. Again, I'm in Canada. It doesn't get hot here, so I have about 3.5 inches exposed on each side. And if it doesn't work, well, build the shroud. If it does work, I'm sure it will. Then we'll leave it as is. So next, I'm going to be building some brackets. I'm not going to really build them, but I got some angled aluminum. So I'm going to have hook here, here, and here. So I'll get started on that. Cut these down to about 2 inches each. Not bad, pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and like whip out the file and clean up the edges. So it took a little longer than I wanted, but I got these made up. It took longer because a 90 didn't really work very well, so I had to kind of bend them to get them to work out. But this thing is on there secure. It ain't ever going anywhere. I like the little zip ties, but long term, I guess those aren't the greatest. The little through radiator zip ties. You have gloves on?
Me? No. Why?
Can you put some on?
What's that?
I need you to take this.
I also really appreciate that you're doing this all in flip-flops. And where am I putting it before I take it?
So you put it on the fucking...
The cardboard over there?
Yeah, cardboard's fine. It'll work finish.
Heavy?
A little bit. Go. It's leaking stuff.
Maybe I'm not wearing my nice shoes.
What the f?
What?
There's a fucking giant rag in here.
What?
There's a fucking giant rag in my engine.
Do you want to take a picture of it?
What the f?
Oh, it's recording.
There is a rag in my engine. This is not me. I've never had the intake off. Is this some kind of strategy? Is this some kind of strategy is this meta to like quiet the valve train?
It does seem well placed. It seems strategic.
What the f? Alright, so I cleaned up the intake. I'm still astonished that there's a rag in there. I assume the rag, my guess, I haven't looked it up, I'm gonna look up later, but I assume it's some kind of getaway of quieting the lifters. So, anyway, I got some gaskets, got the right stuff, the best gasket making thing. I'm not gonna use the rubber stuff in the front. I don't think that's ever works. I'm gonna put I didn't show the cleaning process, I just cleaned it up. I'm gonna go ahead and seal the intake tonight, that way I don't have the exposed engine and all that. And yeah, let's get started. It's so annoying actually having to climb. It's nice when you climb in this, but it's annoying climbing in and out of it. Click, damn it. There we go. Alright, I think we got it. Alright, so a little bit of a late start today. Not a whole lot to do today anyway. And I did some stuff earlier, but then Mia's parents came over, so we had dinner. Little things I did was I put this thing on, just a heater hose barb, thermostat and thermostat housing. Got this little sensor in there. I need a plug for this. Spring is on. I got the fuel hooked up. Hopefully it'll fire. I mean, I did test start earlier to make sure it did work because I wasn't recording, but her dad was here helping out a little bit, so didn't record it. I forgot to put the bolts back in here, so this came flying off. No one was in here though, so it didn't hit anybody. It just fell down anyway. I need to get shorter bolts for it, so I have this spacer that was on there, back in there for a temporary hold. Got the battery down there. It wouldn't actually start there. I think this this wire has got some poor connections somewhere. But little things today. So I don't have the radiator in, but we're just gonna go ahead and make sure test fire it and see if it runs smooth. Make sure it runs, make sure the timing is right, and then or just the the initial timing. It starts up, it's smooth, it's not a tooth off or whatever. And then yeah, waiting on parts and painting stuff. So I hooked the electric choke up. 12 volts when the key is on, 0 when the key is off. So yeah, I guess we're ready to go ahead and fire up again. Alright, so turning over, not getting any fire though. So go ahead and try and figure out why. Alright, so I did forget to connect the brake booster in the back of the carburetor. So that's a really big vacuum port. Maybe that was why. It's a lot of air going in. So let's go ahead and try and start it again. think it's something with this choke being too far open. I think the timing is good. That felt smooth. Like, you know, like on the correct tooth, stabbed correctly, you know. I'll re-base time it a little later when it's all together, of course, but yeah, felt smooth. Let me go ahead and tighten that distributor cap down. But I guess it was the choke being too far open, so I gotta adjust it, I guess. Alright, so day 4. Not a whole lot today, just a bunch of little things. I'll show you in a second. Just painting, cleaning. Probably last thing I'll do today is polish the grill, because I'm gonna aluminum polish it real nice. I'll show you that. I got the radiator kind of in temporarily. I got the battery put back in the battery tray. That came out pretty good. Fixed the fuel line. The old fuel line was actually leaking. That's why the garage always smelled like gas, I guess. Just a small leak on the bottom. So I changed the fuel line. Gauge was leaking a little bit. I got some resistant, thread sealant resistant RTV, or sealant, gasket maker, whatever you call it for that. It's leaking a little bit, but I got some thread sealant on there. Got a new fuel line running up. Radiator is in there temporarily. Got the new chrome, plastic chrome, whatever you call it, piece. Looks pretty good. It's not really worth the price, I feel like, but it looks good. Right now I'm installing a overflow bottle, because I think these just are supposed to dump on the ground when they overflow, but getting a new one in. This is just a universal one I got from Amazon. I spot welded the nuts on the back there, that way they're kind of captive and I don't have to struggle. And yeah, coming along. So I got the overflow right there installed. It's decent. You know, it was only like 30 bucks on Amazon, but it's not bad. I just gotta get some hose for it and then hook it up, and yeah, looks pretty good. It's a nice radiator. All right, so I didn't get to do what I wanted to do today, which was fan relay and, you know, little mounts for the radiator, because this came in and I'm busy mounting it and figuring out how to put it on and all that. For the most part, it looks like I got it. I got the bolt here. I got a bolt here, stud, bolts. I got one more bolt down here, and then it's fully mounted, I believe. I just need to get some sealant to kind of seal that in. But I'm gonna go ahead and take it out now, and then I gotta attach this other piece, and then I will leave it unattached because I don't have the sealant for it yet, and I gotta install the heater core on the inside before I mount up these studs. I could mount up. I'm missing adhesive anyway, so I won't fully attach it, but I'll take it out and go ahead and do that external part. So I got it kind of sitting in there. My old little seal was still in pretty good condition, so I put some RTV behind it and then pressed it against there. Installed this sort of pressing against it, so it'll push up and give it a nice seal when it dries. So that second piece is in there. Looks pretty good. I might turn these bolts around after everything's done drying. Okay, so it's been a little bit since I've updated. I went ahead and got a new blow motor, and I got this thing separately. I couldn't find the original part number for this. Mine is a little chipped for the most part. It's plastic. So this is a 72 blower motor, and then this is from, I think, a square body metal. Got it from Amazon, actually. Had to use a couple washers to take up the space, but it's a little smaller. What is that, diameter wise? I think just a little shorter in the overall length, but should work. So that's old heater core. wasn't even that bad condition. Probably still usable. Got the new one in. New heater hose. I got this box sealed up against the wall pretty nicely. So here pretty soon, fill her up with coolant and see if the fans work, if I hooked them up right. So good news, I wired up the electric fan correctly the first time. And it turned on. I had the truck out there running for probably like 10 minutes. This thing took forever to heat up and heard it kick on and then all was good. Not only did it kick on, it ran for like a minute and then it kicked off. So at first I was kind of worried about running this without a shroud. A full shroud. It has like a little small shroud on it. But I think it'll be fine. Again, I mean Canada doesn't get super hot here and it should work out well. So the relay was actually really easy to wire up. I just now that I know it works, I'm gonna finish the wiring, cover it up. So there's this little thing. Kind of proud of that. It looked pretty good. And then I got the relay hidden actually kind of behind the battery. Yeah, there it is. So that's in there pretty good. And then yeah, if you're interested in how that's wired up, I'll let you know. But it was a painless, I think, 1302 relay kit. Just for the low side. I'm not using the high side for this fan because these fans draw a lot of amps. So now that that's good and stuff's a little hot, but I'll go ahead and start tidying up the wiring. Alright, so let me go ahead and catch up because it's been a while since that last part in the video. As you can see, I cut my hair. I cut my own hair just for, you know, for the heck of it. I'm not good at cutting it. I don't go out much. It's just yeah, don't judge my hair. So yeah, to catch you up on the truck, for the most part everything is put back together. It's drivable and all that. I'm happy with everything except one thing. The heat inside the truck is extremely disappointing. And it's starting to get cold here and I want heat. And if I'm not gonna have AC, I want some good heat. So it's very disappointing. The thermostat that was in it was a 180, and you know, I got a heat gun, putting it right against the heater core, you know, gets about the 180, you know, pretty good, right? Heat coming directly off the heater core, not right there, it's pretty good, but it just loses all of that heat as it travels through the vents and up top. It just, there's nothing, and then driving, I lose even more heat because it cools too good. The radiator cools too good. The fan's not even on. And then it's cold outside. So I'm going to have to block off my entire radiator with the cardboard here pretty soon. But like, it's just the heat is trash. So I put in a new thermostat. I put in a 205 degree thermostat. You know, the temperature gauge actually gets up halfway, which is, you know, kind of like what I like. Usually they're typically right in the middle. Gets up halfway if it's sitting still. Again, if I go driving, it goes up more than before, but it's not quite halfway. Heat feels hotter coming off of the, you know, right off the heater core. Again, it's still like, it's not even like, it's getting cold, but it's not super cold out today. I went driving around and just, I can rest my hand against the vent the entire time, all day, and it's just warm air. You know, if I go inside the heater box, you know, it's nice. It's nice and warm. Like but I can't get that in the whole truck. I don't know why. The blower motor's like too weak. There's leaks and stuff, but I'm just not happy with that. So I got everything off. I got you can't really see it real because it's dark, but just on the heater box right there. If I shove my hand in there, yeah, the heat feels good, but throughout everything else, it's doo-doo. So I got these controls out. The top lever was broken anyway, but all I did was flip this switch down here, which changes from the vents to the, you know, defrost, and you can do that by hand. And with taking out the AC system, I lose the blend door, but that shouldn't even matter. I lose this part right here. This blend door. Again, shouldn't even matter because, you know, I have direct heat the whole time, right? So again, I have not worthless, but I have a thing that's not in use. Now, it's just the heat is just, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to figure it out. You know, jack the front up, have a nice, I love these funnels to burp the system, but jack the front up on a hill, had so much coolant in here, got all the air out, you know, lots of air was going out, revving it, you know, air coming out, hoses, both hoses hot, 205 thermostat, you know, these are, I believe these are read correctly, you have, this is your intake, which is it pushes out to the bottom of the radiator, comes through, and the water pump sucks it through. So this is in, this is out. I know there's other ways to do it, but still not getting worthwhile heat. I put in a 205 thermostat. I changed out the fan switch for one that turns on, I think, at 210 degrees, and luckily everything works. I can get rid of this. And just, you know, no heat. Radiator's still in there, temporarily, honestly. It works just fine with the zip tie holding it. Let's see what else. I got the wires covered up for the cooling fan, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. Just everything looks good. I cleaned some wiring up over here. This was like exposed wire, and I cleaned that up nicely. Changed out this wire. If you're interested on how to wire the fan, let me know down below, and I can, you know, maybe make a video devoted to that. But for the most part, it was super easy. I just followed the instructions, and it worked out fine. So this heat is just, I'm really tempted to just go with an aftermarket system. I've been looking it up. The reviews on them are all good. They're like, oh, this will cook you out the car. Oh, the fan blows really hard, you know. Stuff I need. Like, I don't care if it's quiet. I just need heat. The fan motor in this isn't even that quiet anyway. It's like all you can hear. So, really tempted to go aftermarket. That'll make for a pretty fun video anyway. Interesting thing to do, because honestly there's like no videos out there on it. It's all about AC installs, not separate heater installs, but heaters are supposed to be pretty simple and work. I don't know why it's not working. Yeah, I just wanted to catch you guys up because it's been a while, and I just got everything tidied back together, and you know, everything is working fine as usual. You know, truck drives, runs good. Actually, so to talk about it a little bit, not having this mechanical fan on there, and maybe the new intake, maybe the new carburetor, but I feel like I gained like 30 horsepower. It's just, it's so much nicer to drive without that direct connection fan just taking off every time I accelerate from a stoplight. And I did a little bit of ghetto fixed the exhaust leak on the exhaust manifold. I used furnace cement. It's temporary because these are manifolds I don't care about, and I eventually want to put headers on anyway. So it's temporary, and it worked. It closed the exhaust leak. Engine's like, it's much quieter, and it's pretty nice. So it's good things. Wiring, I cleaned up the left side a little bit. Why is it so dark? I cleaned up the wiring on the left side a little bit. Nice and, hidden for the most part, tucked away. The wiring on top is kind of just shoved in there, but I don't even need that many wires. So I'm re-recording this last part. Good news, my complete bed assembly from Brothers finally arrived 6 months later. Eventually there'll be a video on that, but that's finally here, so that's finally, took forever to get it, and they didn't even ship everything, so that's a little disappointing, but they fixed it, so, yeah, I believe that's it. Next video will probably be me trying to figure out this heat on the truck, and this was a long video, so if you watched all of it, thanks for hanging out watching it. There'll be more stuff like that, and yeah, that's it for this one. So see you next one. Peace.